Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
Nobody can deny the fact that our world is broken. We live in brokenness. There's parts of us that are in brokenness, that we're stuck, right? And so no one can deny that. But God didn't originally create the world broken. That's not the original design. God's original design is beauty, love, harmony with him and harmony with one another, right? That, and we see glimpses of God's beauty and God's love in this world. We see glimpses of that in the world today. But we're stuck in this place of brokenness.
I've heard you say the word broken or brokenness more than anybody I've ever had on Missions Pulse. And it seems like brokenness or being broken or the world being broken is like a major theme in your life. And that repair from the brokenness is a powerful aspect of sharing the gospel. I mean, it's intrinsic almost.
Yes, absolutely. Because again, there's no one that can deny that. I mean, some people will just deny it as if they just want to brush you aside and go about their day.
Sure.
But it is something that people can, yeah, absolutely be like, yeah, that's so true. I remember sharing the gospel with these two Asian students. Um, it was like I was in a car. It was like an Uber situation, right? Driving towards the university, and I was just sharing the gospel, and they were like, "I've never heard it like that before." Um, Again, like that God made a way, and that's the good news. That if we turn from our brokenness towards Jesus, we believe that He died and He rose again, then God will bring us on a path towards His original design.
Everything you're talking about, though, this aspect of brokenness, I kind of want to linger here a little bit more because it reminds me of. Have you ever heard, James, of Kintsugi? You know that Japanese art of it's like the broken pottery, and they take this broken pottery and seam it together again with the gold. And you've seen pictures of this, like a
Yes, yeah, I
pot
have seen that. That's
with
right.
yeah, right, and it's seared together with gold. There were certain throughout Japanese history. Pottery guys who sold pottery for a living would actually smash their pottery and then piece it together intentionally and then piece it together with that gold, and it was called kintsugi. And it became more valued. The broken and then repaired pieces became more valued than the original pot itself. And it's almost like that's what God's doing with us. We've been shattered and there's shards everywhere around our life, but He's taken this gold and piecing it together, and the seams of our lives are taking on new beauty and new form. When I was actually, I want to read this little part of my book. As my first book is called The Space Between Memories. And I wrote this about China because I was my first encounter in China. I was seeing this hurt and brokenness and lack of gospel everywhere around me. And I've wrote this at the end of my first chapter. It says, I've heard it said that God gives beauty for ashes. So too, He evokes holy calling from unassuming spots, pulling passion from the profane, wringing vision from vile waters. He is in the business of transformation, of altering atmospheres, taking the squalid and making it exquisite. I wrote that because
Wow.
I was knee deep in Shenzhen, China, right across the border from Hong Kong. We're smuggling Bibles every day, and it was pouring rain, my first experience in China. And I'm trudging through these knee deep water that came up from the underworld of Shenzhen, the sewers. It was nasty. And yet, this is the moment when I gave my life to God for the unreached and for China. And I remember that nasty, smelly, stinky spot being this moment of beauty where God's calling came over me. And that broken aspect, that kintsugi, that searing together of the broken shards, man, that's what Jesus does best.
Absolutely. That's a powerful image. I really
Hmm.
like that. And that's exactly right. And so the people that come along with me on this journey of, sharing their gospel, making disciples, all have those stories,
Yeah.
different stories of how Jesus repaired them from their brokenness. And I'm talking about, yeah, so drug addiction, violent lifestyles, even those who've escaped the sex industry, how God restored and repaired them and from that, and how God's using them now to, take people out of that world. I mean, it's just amazing. And I actually love that pottery imagery. I'm going to look that up and I'm going to
Yeah.
use that because that's exactly it. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I know
powerful.
you're going to be Googling Kintsugi here. It's spelled, by the
That
way, if
total,
anybody else wants to Google it, it's like Kintsugi, Kintsugi.
okay.
The first imagery you see totally makes sense. You're like, yeah, wow, that's like my life.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.